Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. I just did something that most stackers only talk about and very few actually follow through. I took in my silver and I traded it for gold. So today I'm going to walk through the trade that I actually made, and we're not going to be just talking about the theory or the charts, but we're going to bring up the real world pricing of trading the gold to silver ratio. Congratulations to Trenosaurus for being the first to comment on my video yesterday. Go find him down in the comments to start a conversation. Alright, so we are talking about the gold to silver ratio. When most people talk about the gold to silver ratio, we see information like it's pointing at the fact that silver is undervalued or that gold is overvalued. People talk about trading between the gold to silver ratio. But I actually went ahead and did it, and I have the receipts right here. I do have to cover up my personal information, so I'm not going to be showing these receipts the whole time. I'm just going to show you what I did so we can walk through all of the numbers. My first experiment was how much silver does it take to buy 1 ounce of gold? And then the next was how much gold can I get for 100 ounces of silver? And I'll be honest, right now it actually came up to 101 ounces because one that I brought was a 2-ounce generic bar, and I didn't quite catch that until after the transaction. So anyway, it's 101 ounces of silver and how much to get 1 ounce of gold. So we'll start off right here. Silver spot price at the time of this trade was $73.73, and the gold spot price at the time of the trade was $4,622.40. You can go ahead and pause right here so you can see all the numbers laid out. This spot price gives a gold to silver ratio of 62.7 to 1. So in theory, I would be able to take 62.7 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. And this is the number that everyone sees. If you look up a gold to silver ratio chart, you're going to see this 62.7. But there's a problem. You don't buy at spot and you don't sell at spot. I did end up picking up this 1 ounce gold eagle, so here I'm just showing where it fits in with the rest of my 1 ounce gold products. Since we don't sell silver at spot or buy gold at spot, a lot of people imagine that there's going to be a very extreme premium on this type of trade. And in theory, that makes sense as well. If you're selling significantly under spot and buying something significantly over spot, that premium will compound on top of each other and create something pretty extreme. But let's see what actually happened. I was able to trade 67 ounces of American Silver Eagles for 1 ounce of American Gold Eagle. Since I was trading like to like items, the shop was a little bit more able to come close to that gold to silver ratio. The shop worked with me very well on buying the American Silver Eagles a little bit better since I was planning on buying, and selling me the Gold Eagle a little bit better since I gave them inventory in order to buy this. So looking at the gold to silver ratio of 62.7, when it actually cost me 67 ounces of silver, that is a 6.8% premium, which is really not unheard of with a 1 ounce American Gold Eagle. It is a little on the high end. If I was paying cash, I would expect something more like 4 to 5%, but most likely that is even more so than what I spent if we look at it in the dollars. The next experiment starts to look a little bit messy. 1, at my fault, and 2, because I got so many different products. But what was my fault is I accidentally brought a 2-ounce bar and didn't catch the math that it ended up being 101 ounces. It totaled 33 American Silver Eagles, and 68 generic silver. The other part that makes this a little bit messy is the actual gold coins I got. So I prefer European gold or circulated gold because I can often pick them up at a very low premium. But after I grabbed what I wanted from that side, I then only had enough to get some fractional gold, which was two 1/10 ounce eagles and a 1/4 ounce eagle. So this mix of high premium and low premium ends up in a very tricky situation, especially when taking into account that I sold both silver eagles and generic silver in order to make this purchase. Overall, we still get a very accurate form of what a silver to gold trade will actually look like. So here I'm showing two sovereigns that I picked up here in these flips, and that makes 4 different sovereign designs that I have. I also picked up two 20 franc gold coins, one 10 guilder gold coin from the Netherlands, as well as the two 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagles and one 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagle. This all totals to 1.4889 ounces. And if we do the math, 101 ounces of silver to 1.4889 ounces of gold makes a gold to silver ratio of 67.83, which is quite close to the 67 ounces of silver it took to get 1 ounce of gold. So that's what my real world ratio is here when it comes to trading 101 ounces of silver into gold. That premium for 67.83 ounces of silver at the time of a 62.7 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold actual gold to silver ratio comes up to an 8.1% premium. Since I did get some higher premium items as well as traded in some lower premium silver, I expected this ratio to be a little bit higher. And I am planning on doing a future video going into detail of everything that I picked up, as well as why I choose this gold over modern bullion gold. So if you'd like to see that, make sure you stay tuned. But let's zoom out to the big picture here, because this is where the real value of the video is. The spot ratio, while it is very useful, it's not realistic. It's just like looking at the spot gold price in dollars, except this is just the spot gold price in silver. There's going to be a premium, and depending on what type of silver you use to pay, that premium could get worse or better. Just keep that in mind if you're the type of person that is waiting for a specific gold to silver ratio number before you perform a trade. If you're thinking I'll trade at 60 because you have 60 ounces of silver, the reality is you're either going to be paying cash for that premium or you'll have to wait till more like 55 or even lower. And while I do know that a lot of people out there are thinking that I could have just easily traded it peer to peer, the issue with that is that I would have needed to find someone who was equally excited to trade this much gold for the amount of silver that I had. So let's say I was willing to try to find someone online that was going to accept this type of trade. If we did it at spot to spot, I would have saved about 12 ounces of silver. However, I would have needed to express to them how real the silver is, where most likely they wouldn't have been able to test it or any of this gold. So trying to find a peer-to-peer trade like this, I'm not only needing to find someone who is excited about trading the opposite type of trade that I'm currently trying to perform, but also has the type of coins and is willing to trade at a spot to spot or somewhere closer to that. The amount of time and effort and trust I would need to have in that person that all of this is real makes it a lot more attractive for me to just go to a local coin shop, find exactly what I want, and pay that premium. Before I go, I want to share exactly why it is that I'm making these type of trades. And for me, it's because I look at my silver and gold holdings as an entire portfolio. I dollar cost average into silver, so my silver position slowly grows and takes over a larger value of my stack. Add that to the fact that silver has higher volatility, and that means that I'm moving more and more into a more volatile position than a more stable one. With the logic of basic 401k investing, it makes a lot more sense to slowly move into a more stable position as you get closer to retirement age. So on a weekly basis, I dollar cost average into silver, and then on a quarterly basis, I evaluate my positions based on percentage of value of my entire stack and use my silver position to silver cost average, if you will, into gold. So since this was a pretty sizely position movement into gold, I will likely not be selling any more silver into gold for quite a while, but who knows? If silver strongly outperforms gold over the next few months, you could see another trade like this. I also perform the other way in case gold performs extremely better than silver. However, it does take a much larger move in order for that to happen since I am dollar cost averaging into silver. But movements like that have happened. If you look at just 1 year ago, the gold to silver ratio topped out at about 105. At that time, I traded about zero point 0.9 ounces of gold into, I believe it was 85 ounces of silver. And even look back in my videos, there is a video on that. Keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. I'm definitely not a financial advisor, and if I was, I'm not your financial advisor. So make sure to do your own research, do your own homework, and move your metals the way you choose to based on your own beliefs. I just made my own line of coffee. Joseph's Reserves It's Today Again coffee. Most mornings aren't dramatic. They're quiet. You wake up, pour yourself a cup, and now you have a choice. Drift through the day or take hold of what's in front of you. That's really what this whole thing's about. Showing up, building good habits, staying disciplined in the small things. Whether that's stacking consistently, learning something new, or just being faithful with what you've been given. I put these words on every bag to remind myself first. Every morning is a gift. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. So take a breath, take a sip, and let's get to work. It's today again. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back. If you like this video, go down and hit the thumbs up button. Go into the comments to start a conversation or continue one. Share your ideas about the gold to silver ratio. And share the video to anyone you think may like it. And subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up. So no matter how small, just keep stacking.